Hey everyone, welcome to the Game Week 7 team selection video, where we are going to see how this squad is lining up going into the new game week that starts tomorrow with kind of a not super exciting fixture between Salernitana and Lecce, but it is still important enough for it to lock our teams in for the week. So let's take a look at how this is going to go. Please don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already to the channel, and I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you ask anyone else, I think I always respond to anything that's asked. So feel free to start the dialogue early for the game week, and we will get right into it. Um, as of right now, I am not making any transfers to the team. I don't see anything significant enough in the fixtures for me to get someone that I don't have. Napoli has good fixtures, I think, coming up, but right now they face AC Milan, so no sense in getting them in this week. And if I still want to get players in next week, I can do that by potentially putting the money elsewhere in the positions by making two transfers at once. So I think I'm going to leave myself that flexibility. Of course, I have Locatelli, who's still injured in my squad and probably still won't play this week. But I can just bench him right now, and I'm not too worried about transferring him out just yet. But starting out on day one, I will have one player in Falcone playing against Salernitana. Di Gregorio's facing Juve, and despite how poor Juve has been, I still would rather take the chance against Salernitana over Juve. On the defensive line, I am going to take Theo Hernandez, which I'm a little worried about. It does seem that he's off penalties. Giroud has taken the last two penalties while Theo Hernandez is on the field. So it doesn't look like he's on penalties, at least while Giroud's on the field as well. I'm sure if Giroud wasn't on the field, he would be. But Giroud's been starting the games over Rebic, and I just the value in Theo Hernandez does not seem like what it was last year, at least as of right now. Ismaili has been starting every game despite being 4 mil, and they're playing Bologna this week, so I thought I'd take the chance with him. And Dumfries still been pretty attacking against Udinese. I could see both attacking and defensive returns there. Lastly, Bremer, he did score last game in Serie A and really should have scored last in the Champions League game Juve played. He missed from about 3 yards out. That would have tied the game. So surprisingly enough, as a center back, he is getting forward a decent amount, which is good to see. And against Monza, I do think there is a good opportunity there for many goals for Juve if they decide to play the way that we all know they can. Little concerned about the midfield. They all have hard fixtures, and Kvaratskhelia just played 90 minutes for Napoli in Champions League this week. Obviously, still might play again, but I will not be surprised to see him come out as a sub this week. Deulofeu, I'm pretty sure will start, almost starts every game for Udinese, but does have a tough fixture against Inter. And Koopmeiners has a tough game against Roma this week. So I'm not expecting great things out of my midfield this week. I would not be surprised to see some ones and twos within there. But as far as who else I have, like Brahim Diaz, I guess I could put on, but he did just play in Champions League. I could see him being a sub, and against Napoli, I don't see much more coming from it. So this is why I'm sticking with what I have here. I might do a Diaz for Koopmeiners just because Diaz is a little bit more attacking, I'd say. But as of right now, this kind of looks like how we're lining up. And for the attack, though, this is going to be looking like a very strong week for the attack if everyone plays like they can. We have Vlahovic against Monza, Immobile against Cremonese, and Arnautovic against Empoli. I am very much considering, and I might even hit it during the course of this video. I'm like extremely close to hitting the double captainship. Just keep in mind that a lot of people would say, are you crazy? You want to wait for the double game week? And that just doesn't really happen in Serie A as much as it does in the Premier League. You don't see those instances that often where games get called off. We don't have that extra domestic cup, which always, so in the Premier League, the reason why there's like guaranteed to be double game weeks at some point is because they have their domestic cup, which caused games later in the season to get rearranged depending on how far teams make it. Serie A does not have that. And in fact, teams had a hard enough time calling off fixtures during when teams were riddled with COVID. And I mean, like, I guess something random could happen, like what has happened England, I guess. Well, obviously fixtures are called off because of the Queen. Serie is not gonna worry about that. And then there was the like strike situation that originally had called off the Brighton versus Crystal Palace game. Not to get too much into the Premier League. Sorry for delving off there, but I'm just trying to say, unless you want to just hope that something happens in the world of Serie A that causes a fixture to be canceled and therefore a double game week occurs, that's fair. I get that. It potentially even just weather or something could knock out a game at some point. But if we're looking here, I don't think I'm going to see a better time where two very strong strikers are facing two promoted sides at the same time. So I do think that I will be hitting the double captainship and having both Vlahovic and Immobile scoring double points for me. I may come to regret it, that's fine, but it may not pay off, I should say, but I don't think I would come to regret it. I think this is a very opportune time to be using a double captainship if you have both Immobile and Vlahovic, or like a Milinkovic-Savic and a Vlahovic, or Immobile and Di Maria, or something like that. I think it could be worth thinking about using your double captainship this week. And yeah, that is, I think, my big news of the week that I think I will be doing. In fact, I don't know, do I just get it over with? All right, there, it's official, live, double captainship being used, okay? So no wishy-washiness about it. You've seen it happen, and I cannot take that back now. If Vlahovic or Immobile get injured within the next 3 days, I'm going to be very sad. Anyway, so that's done. That's one chip used now for the season. I'll still have my all-in at some point. And let's go see what has been happening around the league. Bastoni being brought in. Spezia does have very good fixtures coming up, so I do rate that transfer very much. Dybala's been great. Koopmeiners and Arnautovic, obviously, and Diaz been doing well as well. I just find it hard to back Salernitana players sometimes, which is why I haven't done that. But definitely not a bad move. And then we got Quadrado, who got sent off last game, which makes sense why he's being moved out. Osimhen with injuries. Fiorentina's been doing terrible. And Leao, I think, got a red card as well, so he'll be suspended, which is probably why he's being moved out. As far as a top 5 for this week, I'm really backing the Lazio Juve players this week, despite some of Juve's form. I think Vlahovic and Immobile are two big strikers to have right now, and I would try to take some attacking midfielders from them as well. I would try to see if you can get Milinkovic-Savic and Di Maria into your teams as well. The last one, just because he's been doing so well, is Arnautovic. For the price he is, I would say he's a must-have right now as well. So Vlahovic, Immobile, Di Maria, Milinkovic-Savic, and Arnautovic are the players that I'd say to have on your radar for this week. And feel free to let me know of any others that I missed, or if you think that I've just made a big mistake by hitting that double captaincy button. I know that Vlahovic hasn't been doing great recently. He's been putting the ball in the back of the net just on offside plays, unfortunately. So I do think it is coming, and I do think this is a week for Juve to turn it around, where they can try to beat up on a newly promoted team. And we just know how Immobile does in Serie A in general. That's where I'm going to leave this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please, again, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you after the game week, hopefully with a nice big green arrow. Take care.